If you want to know deep spiritual knowledge about the feathered headdress, the feathered headdress is often associated with Moctezuma II, which is known to be the ninth emperor of Tenochtitlan, and he was a ruler of the Aztec alliance. So, what I wanted to explain about the feathered headdress is that it looks like a long, layered green feathered gold. It radiates a certain rainbow type color, and each color had its own meaning. So when you look at the feathers themselves represents divine substance, and his most prized feathers came from the quetzal bird, because the green itself represents life, fertility, preciousness, and nature. The feathers itself represents something that belongs to the sky and not the earth, which is the wind element. In the Mexica culture, this connects to Teotl, which is the sacred force that flows through everything, which is the life force energy, your chi, which is the sacred serpent knowledge of how you can raise your consciousness to become a powerful being. When you rise above certain ordinary human status and become a vessel of divine energy, that is how you become Teotl, right? So the headdresses are marked as an identity, not as fashion. So each headdress got its own shape, its own color, and own different type of feather based upon the rank, the warrior, the priest, or the ruler, and the certain achievements that was taking place during battle. And each headdress has a spiritual role. And for example, the Eagle Warriors wore the eagle themed gear headdresses, and the Jaguar Warriors wore the jaguar symbolism of the headdresses. And each of them were basically an identity code to the cosmos, to the ancestors. So when you see the headdress looking like the Statue of Liberty, there's so many different goddesses that has this feathered headdress because it represents the flow of energy. It represents the sun's rays. It represents ancestral connection. It represents multiple matters of things, but it represents the sun, the expansion of energy when the sun rays come out, the cycles of life and renewal, and it's tied to the deity Huitzilopochtli, right? Um, it's just very basically a sign and a line to the person that's associated with the solar force of movement of the consciousness. So it was more of craftsmanship and sacred knowledge mixed in together. So the feather workers were often called Amanteca. You see what I'm saying? Amantecas were highly respected specialists. So they would use intricate techniques to layer and bind the feathers and would work under a leader temple control in order to get the feathers crafted. They represented